Our services are about to begin. Mrs. Marjorie E. Sandlow, I would ask if you have a cellular device to please turn it to the off position. Officiating our service today will be Rabbi Wendy Geffen from North Shore Congregation, Israel.
We shouldn't be here today. The last many weeks have been so profoundly difficult, but we were all operating under the assumption that things would, or at least could, turn around. And then less than a week ago, everything changed in a moment, thrusting everyone into this nightmare. We shouldn't be here because Margie should be here. It is all just so hard to understand and to believe. Margie has been taken from her family, from her friends, from her community, and from the world. And now our lives, our community, our world is darkened because she is not physically in it. No one, in particular those closest to Margie, is okay. To be clear, we are not here to make this feel okay. We are here to feel none of this is okay. We're here to mourn, and we're here to grieve for Margie, and to grieve for her beloved family in particular and all they have lost. Barry has lost the love of his life, his soulmate, his very best friend. Barry, our hearts are broken for you. Hillary, Peter, Brian, they've lost their truly cherished and beloved mom, their greatest supporter, their rock. Hillary, Peter, Brian, along with Jim, Kayla, Sabrina, whom we know Margie loved so deeply, and we know you loved her so deeply in return. Our hearts are broken for each of you and all of you. Betty has lost her cherished daughter. a loss no mother should ever have to endure. Betty, we know how you adored Margie and how close the two of you were. Betty, our hearts are broken for you. Tom has lost his cherished sister, his role model, and unwavering support. Tom, our hearts are broken for you. Jude and Miles have lost the most adoring and loving Nana in the world. Our hearts break for them. Randy, Mark, and Deb have lost the most incredible sister-in-law, really sister, who's been a part of their lives for what feels like forever. Randy, Mark, Deb, our hearts are broken for you. Bonnie and Tony, Sherry, Mariano and Flora, Juan and Susie, Bea and Sam, Neil, Jeff, Elizabeth, Henry, and Della have lost the most wonderful aunt who loved each of them so deeply, who cultivated such wonderful relationships with each of them. Our hearts are broken for you. Our hearts are broken for Margie's cousins, her great nieces and nephews, her extended family, her colleagues, and her so many friends from so many different parts of her life. Margie was the stitching that held the fabric of this expansive family and community together. And her loss is immense and unfathomable. Our hearts are broken together. And in that, there is enough pain and despair that we risk letting our grief come to color our understanding of Margie's life, only as one defined by the darkness we feel in this moment in the aftermath of her dying and her death, and not for the fullness of the person she was, how she lived her life so full of life, light, and love. And we cannot allow for that to happen. So alongside our grief, each of us must seal our memories of Margie in our hearts in such a way that they honor her for the beautiful life she lived, a life she simply adored, a life about which on the day she died, knowing that she would die, she declared, "I've had a wonderful life." This is impossibly hard. As Barry shared the other day, we wanted 25 more years. And Margie's years were not and never will be long enough. But those years were nevertheless full of life. And so it is that we will remember her and grieve for her and love her today and always. We will do as our people have done for generations, turning to voices of our tradition, turning to words of comfort, to guide us as we walk through the valley of the shadow of death together. Adonai ro'i lo echsar, bino deshe yar bitseni ame menochot yanahaleni nafshi yeshovev, yancheni b'ma'ag le'tzadek l'ma'an shemo. You may recognize the Hebrew as the beginning words of the 23rd Psalm. You have those words on the inside of the pamphlet you received when you came in. This psalm, of course, is one that has brought comfort to so many people throughout the ages, but I'd also just have you note the attitude that the psalmist is able to cultivate, even in the face of the shadow of death, because you might find that it brings Margie to you, to somehow see life as a cup overflowing, even in the face of one's end. There are so few of us who are ever able to have such a view. Margie had such a view. Let's join together in one voice as a sign of our presence here today, in particular for Margie's family. Let them hear us. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. From the wisdom of Solomon, Hodieni Adonai Kitsi, tell us, God, what our term is. Tell us the measure of our days. Were we to know, we would know then how certainly fleeting life is. A good person, though, taken from us too soon, will rest in peace. For honor does not come from length of life. Wisdom and understanding are the ultimate seat of our humanity, our legacy. So a good person, though taken from us too soon, will rest in peace. Let us then, with peace of mind, let that good soul rest. A more modern poem. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch. A fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be and oh to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me. Your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. It is a human thing, love, a holy thing, to love what death has touched. In the Mishnah, there is a teaching that describes the ultimate way a person should encounter and treat others, which it ultimately boils down to the fact that a person should strive to possess what it calls sever panim yafot. It's a difficult phrase to translate. Some translate it as a bright smile. Others say it means that one should strive to encounter everyone and everything with warmth and with positivity. Still, others understand it to express how a person should always have an optimistic outlook on the future. For our purposes today, we might translate it this way. One should strive to meet every person, handle every encounter as Margie did, with the pure love, joy, respect, and light that she used to face every challenge, and with which she so readily offered to everyone she touched in her life. With her incredible zest for life, boundless optimism and strength and vision that endeared her to so many of us as the cherished person she was and always will be. Everyone who was lucky enough to know Margie knew her sever panim yafot, her glowing smile, which so characterized everything about her, her warmth, her charm, how she listened, her resolve and strength, how she was always looking to the future with excitement and delight, right alongside the excitement and delight she experienced wherever she was in whatever she was doing. And it's all of this and so much more for which we, of course, grieve today, but also for which we are so profoundly grateful as we carry Marjie's legacy forward with us, God willing, for generations to come. According to the sages, words that come from the heart enter the heart. In that spirit, we turn now to the words of Marjie's dearest family and friends. I'll call them up in order. First, we'll hear from Peter, accompanied by Hillary and Brian, if they'd like. Okay. I'm going to get out of your way. I'm right here if you need me. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for being here. Our mom, Marjorie Ellen Sandlow, passed away peacefully at home, surrounded by her family on March 19th, 2025, 11 days before her 71st birthday, and just a few months before what would have been her 50th anniversary with the love of her life, her husband, my father, Barry Rosen. My mom was born March 30th, 1954, to Betty and Richard Sandlow in Chicago, where they lived until my mom was 5, before moving to Skokie, where they remained for the rest of her childhood. My mom attended Niles West High School, where she thrived as a star student. Beyond her academic achievements, she was elected each year as a student government representative and played clarinet in the concert band and marching band. It was at Niles West where one class in particular would shape the rest of her life as it led to a magical love story. In Spanish class her sophomore year, the seating chart was arranged in alphabetical order, which meant a senior boy named Barry Rosen would be seated next to Marjorie Sandlow. That same boy would go on to intentionally forget his textbook multiple times throughout the year, just so he could ask to borrow Margie's. After the school year had ended, just by chance encounter, the very same boy who had already graduated and had no business being at the high school anymore, found himself alone at the end of a hallway opposite of Margie. They walked towards one another, and Barry finally asked Margie for her number. She agreed to give it to him despite the fact she had a boyfriend at the time. And after being asked 7 times, Margie finally agreed to go on a date with Barry. On their first date, Barry and Margie found themselves at Little Napoleon Diner. Barry ordered a hamburger and Margie ordered only a Diet Coke. But the diner had a $4 per person minimum, so Barry and Margie scoured the menu looking for an item that was exactly $4 and eventually landed on Cadota figs. They both laughed, and after that moment, they never spent a single day again where they didn't correspond. When Barry went off to the University of Illinois in a time before cell phones, Margie wrote him a letter every single day until she would eventually join him on campus 2 years later. At Illinois, she was elected to be president of her dorm room and participated in the University of Illinois marching band. After 2 years together on campus, Barry was moving to Boston to attend Harvard Law School. Margie, knowing this was the guy she wanted to marry, decided to graduate from college in 3 years so she could marry him and join him in Boston. While Barry attended law school, Margie worked around Boston until she did something that not many women in the 70s could do and got accepted to Harvard Business School, where she earned her MBA. There was never an official proposal. In August 1975, when Margie was only 21 years old, my mom and dad got married. For the next 14 years, they embarked on a journey as a dual-income, childless couple. They took many wilderness trips together, which included scuba diving, backpacking, and multiple kayak trips. My mom ran 3 half marathons, swam a mile in Lake Michigan as part of an team entry in the Chicago Triathlon, and completed multiple triathlons. She had multiple jobs, and like many accomplished women in the world, had to break the sex barrier along the way, including leading an entire consulting firm despite being the only woman in the office. She worked at Motorola Corporation marketing two-way radio. She worked at Baxter Travenol Laboratories supervising the manufacture of high-tech medical equipment. She was a healthcare consultant at Dornfest and Associates. She was a marketing consultant at Franklin and Associates, where she was selected to establish and run the firm's first international consulting office in London, where she relocated. After relocating back to Chicago, Margie and Barry finally started a family, with Hillary joining in 1989. Peter followed in 1992 and Brian in 1993. Once the children came along, Margie retired from the business world and became a full-time mom and immediate pillar of the community. If you tried walking the streets of Highland Park with my mom, it was best to at least double the amount of time needed to account for all the people she lovingly stopped to chat with. And while she was most certainly the unofficial mayor of Highland Park, she had a sushi roll named after her at a local sushi spot and was known by many as Marjolo, the name on her license plate. She also held numerous official positions. She worked selflessly for the community for many years on both a volunteer and elected basis. To name just a few of my mom's accomplishments, she was a PTO president extraordinaire. She was elected twice and served 9 years on the District 113 school board, which served Highland Park and Deerfield high schools, including many years as president and vice president, which gave her and us the amazing opportunity of receiving our high school diplomas from our mom. She served special needs students on the North Suburban Special Ed District. After elected office ran its course, she continued helping others. After she retired from the school board, Margie took on a new challenge and joined Cornerstone Jamaica, where, of course, after just 7 months, she was named president and COO. Cornerstone Jamaica is not-for-profit dedicated to providing health, educational, and humanitarian support for the people of Jamaica. Its flagship program is See Better, Learn Better. In Jamaica, most of the elementary school children have never had their vision tested, and so those same children often need vision. And so those children who need their vision correction oftentimes don't know it, and they end up with reading problems. They fail in school, and then they fail in life. Cornerstone Jamaica provides free screening to elementary school children, ophthalmology referrals when needed, and almost free brand new eyeglasses to the kids who need vision correction. After just 7 months on the job, Margie became president, and when she had joined Cornerstone Jamaica, it had done vision screenings for 3,000 Jamaican children. During her time, she made a presentation in Jamaica to screen all 360,000 Jamaican elementary school children nationwide. She did more things in a day than most people do in a week. Beyond her incredible accomplishments in both her professional and volunteer life, what really mattered most to my mom was being just that, a mom. Words cannot describe how my siblings, Dad, and I are feeling, but I will try. My mom made us feel special every day in her life. She was very involved in everything we did and made sure we were set up for success. Whether it was simply making our lunch in the morning, driving me and my brother to sports practice and my sister to piano, or doing something as amazing as sending her patented coffee cake to Brian while he was studying in Australia, we were always made to feel special and taken care of. My mom would attend the basketball games Jim coached, and when Jim's track team won the state championship 2 years ago, she bragged to everyone about it. Mom was the center of our whole world and kept us all together. She organized trips for us all over the world. She would organize family dinners for all of our birthdays and just random occasions so we could be together. She would even try to schedule the next dinner literally minutes after the previous dinner ended. Hillary and my mom were best friends and talked every day. Brian and Mom would spend special lunch dates for many years. Mom would come meet me for lunch during work near my office, or bring lunches to my house so we could eat while I let my dogs out. When we were in Italy for a wedding just a couple years ago, even though the rest of us had been before, Mom made sure we visited the Colosseum because it was something Jim had always wanted to do, and she wanted to give everyone exactly what they wanted. Mom was truly a one-of-a-kind woman. She was the best Nana to Jude, spending multiple days each week as his babysitter, and undoubtedly would have been a tremendous Nana to Miles. Kayla and I are devastated she won't get to meet our newborn baby boy in September. And even though she was sick, her main focus was on our family. In true mom fashion, though, she bought Kayla and I things off her baby registry just days before she passed from her bed. And she organized Brian a special birthday dinner at our house just days after she returned home from the hospital at the beginning of March. She was planning a trip for the entire family in December just weeks ago because she had no doubt in her mind she would be better and we would all do it. One of the special things our family did in recent years was to travel to various baseball stadiums to see the Cubs play. Knowing the Cubs were in Detroit on my birthday, she wanted us to go. Although she couldn't walk at the time, she booked a hotel reservation in Detroit for the trip just 2 weeks ago. Just last weekend, my mom was making plans for a Chicago celebration for Brian and Sabrina's wedding so Grandma could participate, and talking to Hillary and Jim about moving closer so they could see each other more often. There was nothing going to stop Mom from being the supermom and superwife all the way until the very end. Hillary and Jim and Kayla and I were so lucky that we were able to get married at my parents' house, and I know my mom held that near and dear to her heart. On Wednesday, knowing it was near the end, Rabbi Wendy was nice enough to come over and perform an Ufruf ceremony for Brian and Sabrina so Mom could be there. Although she was unable to speak fully for most of the day, Mom recited the Jewish prayers perfectly, had a sip of wine, and even got up the strength to throw the candy. She was present and thrilled to be participating. It was truly special for everyone involved. One of the final things she said on Wednesday to her friends who came and saw her was, "I had a great day." And if there was anyone who deserved a special last day, it was our mom, who was the most special woman in the world. But it truly embodied who she was. She lived every day to the fullest. After she passed on Wednesday night, I wanted to honor her the best way I could, and that was by taking care as much as possible and making sure my dad and siblings are okay. But my mom would not have stopped there. Nothing in this world will replace the hole she's leaving in our hearts. But Mom, our promise to you is we will keep your legacy by remaining as close as we all were when you were here and still being the super family you created. My mom and dad would often say to each other, "How did I get so lucky?" Brian, Hillary, and I can say the same thing about you, Mom. Thank you for everything you did for us. We all love you, and we'll miss you every single day.
We'll hear now from Tom. Want me to stand with you, or are you standing with me? Just like, can I get to your height? I'm trying to get that in your... No, don't do it.
This is Elizabeth and Neil. Jeff is suffering from the contamination. Peter, that was beautiful. I have one small correction. When you said that Margie would plan the next get-together the day after she did the one, she planned that weeks ahead. Margie, Marie, and I were fortunate to have parents that were dedicated to their family. We grew up knowing that our welfare and development were Betty and Richard's top priority. Throughout our childhood, the importance of family was emphasized through action. Our grandparents came over at least once a week. We were constantly interacting with our first cousins that lived just a short walk away. There was more than one teacher that thought our mom or our Aunt Joni had a new child every year or two for a decade because another Sandlow kept popping up in their class roster. From these joys of these regular gatherings, we learned their importance. But Margie made a core to her character. Margie's life was dedicated to helping and guiding her immediate family, her extended family, her friends, and her community. Basically, anyone and everyone she interacted with. Margie's death is the worst personal tragedy in my life. The only way to get through it is to focus on all that she added to my life and the amazing times we had together. As I said, Margie offered support to everyone, her family, her friends, and her community. But I think I probably have the distinction of being the first person she looked out for and guided. When I started kindergarten, she took my hand and we walked to school together. Each morning we went off, the grown-up third grader, walking the kindergartner to school, announcing the names of the streets as we crossed them, and making sure he learned to stop and look both ways before crossing, because she knew he was going to walk home on his own. The first instance of Marge setting me straight happened even before she walked me to kindergarten. Marge, Mom, Dad, and I went to Starved Rock for vacation. I think I was 4 and Margie was 8. I had never been on vacation before. We stayed in a cabin that consisted of 2 adjacent bedrooms. On the first morning, Marge and I woke up before our parents. I got up and started making my bed. Margie, the experienced traveler, told me, "You don't make your bed at hotels. The maid does it." I was a simple kid. I just knew I was supposed to get up and make my bed. Needless to say, our arguing woke our parents. Lesson learned, listen to Margie. Margie's guidance continued throughout the years. When it was time to set him up for band and pick an instrument to play, her advice was, "Don't play any. You have no musical talent. Find something else to do." That might sound harsh, but it couldn't have been more truthful. And if you can't count on your life card for the truth, what good are they? As we got older, the need for guidance became less frequent. But each time I transitioned to a new stage in life, she was by my side with help and advice. When I was unhappy with my college experience and took a year off, where did I go for support? To Margie, of course. First, she conned my parents' fears that I wasn't going to finish college. Then she offered me a place to stay, and when I had overstayed my time, she and Barry gently booted me to the curb. Later, when I was divorcing, she was regularly checking up on me, making sure that I was included in everything that she had going on. Obviously, our relationship wasn't just about Margie guiding me through life. What I will miss most is the fun we had together. Whether it was silly fun in the backseat of a car, playing make-believe, or the hundreds of other ways kids have fun. One day we were a rock band playing badminton rackets as if they were guitars and creating the hit song Mashed Potatoes with, of course, the synchronized dance. Another day we would be picking blackberries from the bushes in our backyard. Some days we helped Mom bake and cook special holiday recipes. But the best moments were the laughs we shared. I don't mean, "Oh, that's a nice dad joke" laugh. I mean total joyous laughter that you can't stop and you struggle to catch your breath. Most of you probably don't know, but when Marge was young, one of her nicknames at home was Mess, spelled M-E-S. It was both her initials and a reference to her sometimes klutzy behavior. Nothing set off our uncontrollable, contagious laughter between Marge and me more than those occasional family dinners when she would spill 2 drinks. We would just calmly clean up the first spill, but on those occasional nights when the first spill was followed by a second spill, especially if it happened refilling the first spilled glass, the laughing was uncontrollable. It only got worse as our dad admonished us for our careless behavior. It didn't end until one of us left the room and was out of earshot. Those moments of pure joy are really what life is about, and Margie, Maria, and I shared so many of them growing up. Fortunately, on rare occasions, we have shared those laughs as adults. These are some of the best moments an adult can have when you are flooded with the feelings you had as a child and the closest to others. Unfortunately, as we get older, we lose the people that mean the most to us from our youth. Each leaves a little hole in one's heart, but Margie's loss is going to leave a little hole in so many hearts. And in my heart, she's left a great canyon-sized hole.
And now to speak on behalf of Margie's friends, Jody and Susie.
Before we begin, we want to acknowledge how honored and grateful we are for the opportunity to say a few words today on behalf of Margie's vast and loving circle of wonderful friends. Like each of you, we are here today with broken hearts and can't believe that our dear friend will no longer share laughs, tears, wisdom, and hugs with each of us. We all got so much from Margie. To know Margie was to appreciate that she was an extraordinary wife, mom, nana, daughter, sister, and aunt. Nothing was more important or dear to her than her incredible family, and she filled with loving pride about each of you at every opportunity. Although others will speak of the beautiful family that Marjie and Barry nurtured together, we want to share the many reasons why Margie was and will forever be a truly special friend to many of us. As anyone who has had the pleasure of spending time with Margie knows, Margie had a brilliant smile that lit up any room she entered. Margie nurtured a wide circle of friends and made each of us feel special. We all remember the first time we met Margie. She had a unique ability to bring people together and make us all feel at ease and at home in her company. Margie cared deeply about her friends and put effort into develop lifelong bonds with so many of us in this room today. She was a great listener, but never shy about offering advice, whether we wanted to hear it or not. And Margie had and shared strong opinions about a wide range of topics, from national to local politics to causes near and dear to her heart, to the next great travel destination or the hottest restaurant that we had to try. Margie was so well respected in the community that my mother-in-law would regularly solicit and follow her advice on who to vote for in local elections. I was lucky enough to be part of the Lincoln Moms group that Margie helped forge and maintained for over 2 decades. Although many of us first met through our children, it quickly became obvious that Margie was the type of special person we wanted to share life experiences with. We shared laughs and sometimes tears as our kids grew up together, and the mutual pride of seeing how wonderful they turned out, on most days at least. Margie loved her daily walks, which she carefully scheduled to maximize her time with as many of us as possible. We all treasured our walks with her, during which we talked about everything and nothing at the same time. Margie would beam when sharing the exploits of her children and grandchildren, and could be counted on to offer wide-ranging but spot-on advice on a broad spectrum of subjects, from recipes to books, fashion, accessories, and all things Jamaica, including, importantly, how to avoid the long line at the immigration line at Montego Bay Airport. Of course, what mattered most wasn't the topics we discussed, but the feeling of being heard, understood, and supported, something that Margie always gave so generously. You were always at ease in Margie's company. But her magic didn't stop with our group of friends. Margie had the unique ability to weave people together, introducing friends from different parts of her life and making sure everyone felt welcome. She just didn't collect friends, she connected them. Whether a neighbor, an old college friend, or a new acquaintance that she recently made, Margie had a rare gift for turning strangers into friends. Margie curated a huge network of friends from all walks of life and fit comfortably with each of us. Through Margie, we became close to Barry and shared so many happy moments together. Barry, we want you to know that we are here for you today, tomorrow, and always. Our love for Margie will live on through our friendship with you and your family. Margie's love bound us together, and we are committed to staying close, holding you in our hearts, and carrying forward the love and warmth she so generously shared.
Like many others, I met Margie through volunteering in the schools. Margie never said no to any volunteer opportunity, and you never said no to Margie when she asked you to help out. She led by example and was a role model for all of us. Even while volunteering and helping others, Margie always kept her friends in mind. In fact, during her tenure on the school board, she made sure to hand each of our kids their diploma at their high school graduation. Of course, we could never talk about Margie without mentioning her impeccable sense of style. No matter the occasion, she always had the perfect outfit, accessorized with the right jewelry and shoes and handbag. It was never about vanity. It was about celebrating life in every way. And if you were lucky enough to share a simcha with Margie, you knew she would show up with a beaming smile, beautifully dressed, and with a detailed special menu request for the kitchen. Another thing she treasured enthusiastically were her mahjong and canasta games. Margie absolutely loved playing with friends, laughing and snacking, and if you ever sat at a table with her, you knew two things. She played to win, and she was very proud of the quarters she collected. The way she beamed after a great hand, the way she playfully reminded us of her victories, those moments were pure Margie. At the center of her life, though, was her family. She was a devoted wife, a loving mother, and an adoring grandmother. She was so incredibly proud of everything her children accomplished. If you even spent a few minutes with her, you would hear just how much she admired them. Her family was her greatest joy, and when she became a grandmother, her heart grew even fuller. Margie taught us that everything should be celebrated, and she knew how to do so in style. There was never a party that Margie didn't enjoy, especially if there was tequila, and Margie regularly hosted holidays welcoming everyone into her home. The warm traditions she created are already being carried forward by her children. Margie remained strong until the very end. She never complained. She looked forward, always planning for the next celebration. She was a rock for her friends and family, teaching us invaluable lessons about strength, resilience, and love, even in her final days. Although our walks, our game nights, and our gatherings will never be quite the same without Margie's wit, wisdom, and smile, we will carry her beautiful spirit with us in the friendships she's nurtured, in the love she shared, in every perfectly chosen accessory, and in every triumphant moment at the mahjong table. Rest easy, dear friend. You will always walk with us, laugh with us, and yes, probably remind us from time to time just how many quarters you won.
We'll hear now from Bia.
Hi, my name is Bia. Margie was my aunt. I am Maria's daughter, so Margie's sister. This is my brother Mariano and my brother Juan. It was love that defined this family. It was 1970 when we saw a beautiful example of this in our family legacy. This was the year my mom, Maria, gained a new sister. That sister was Margie. To briefly catch everyone up that doesn't know the story The Sandlow family had opened their home to a foreign exchange student from Lima, Peru in 1970. My mom was 16, as was Margie, and Tom was shortly behind at age 12. It was an impactful year, filled with love and memories that welded our family lines together forever. I grew up with such fond and inspiring memories of my Aunt Margie. She was a force of love, family, and leadership as an aunt and mother to my cousins, a true alchemist of the most ultimate family experiences. There was always a certain level of feeling held by Margie. As a child, she was a part of the magic behind our Hanukkah Christmas celebrations. My cousins and siblings and I piled into our home in sleeping bags. Presents and food abounded, as did laughter, and again, that feeling of loving safety that no plan or detail was left unaddressed. Margie was the framework and master executor of vision. If Margie was around, you could breathe easy, knowing you'd be fed, watered, an itinerary set for the day, and if you're lucky, maybe even a matching t-shirt to commemorate whatever it was we were doing. She made the ordinary extraordinary. My Aunt Margie had this real take charge energy, something I would observe from the sidelines in my younger years. I'd never really seen a woman so intelligently and unapologetically take the reins. Wow, the feminine empowered. She was a true leader in every way, and family and her community were her arenas. This is a beautiful thing to experience and observe, but it's also a layer of what makes this loss so hard. To lose a matriarch is a tragedy, and loss of such epic proportion. What do we do when the one that holds the family frame, it shows us the way forward in every situation, our guiding light, is no longer with us? What a hole to leave behind. My belief is that while we grieve over the space that Margie held in our lives, we also have the opportunity to grow into the space of this beloved matriarch by embodying the lessons and wisdom she's imparted. I believe that we honor our matriarch by how we embody her love, how we embody her persistence, and how we care for each other, and how we embody putting family first and continuing to be alchemists of the most memorable family experiences, of how we embody being leaders within our respective arenas, of how we embody joy in honor of the girl with a million smiles. May we embolden ourselves to embody Margie's legacy. If I may, I wish to leave us with a poem that has had me reflecting on the mysteries of life, death, and not only a mother's lasting love, but her enduring lessons as well. Margie and her sister Maria both passed on the same day, 13 years apart. How curious is this life? Not long ago, I found a poem among a stack of old files and papers. It was a Xerox copy of Hebrew text with an accompanying poem dated 22 years ago, long before cancer diagnoses were anywhere near our conscious minds. There was penciled handwriting on it, which I recognized as my mother's. She was saving the poem for when she passed. Her handwriting read, "For my children, grandchildren, and maybe even great-grandchildren by then." In my final conversation with Margie, I could feel the ache in her heart at a soul level. "I want to be here for these babies," she told me. I knew how deeply true that was. And in that same breath, I knew how true it would be that she would remain with us forever. The matriarch is eternal. How curious that this poem begins with Hebrew text. How curious the day of this passing. Could it be that this poem was meant for us all? So with that, a parting word and dedication to Margie, her beloved children, her grandchildren, and great-grandchildren someday. Wendy will help me by reading the Hebrew portion.
V'ne'emar, v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
This translates to, on that day the age-old hope shall come true. On that day, O God, you shall be one, and your name shall be one. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved. And if you cannot give me away, at least let me live on in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me most by letting hands touch hands, by letting bodies touch bodies, and by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die. People do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away.
Invite forward Mark and Henry. Henry's going to offer a poem, and Mark and Henry will offer a song.
Yeah, I know. I'll speak out. All right, so this is called If Each Day We Mourned. If each day we mourned a life lost, our tears would soon run dry. Arid streaks across our faces, yet flowing in ample supply. If each day we mourned a life lost, our clothes would be in tatters, black threads latching onto us, like glass about to shatter. If each day we mourned a life lost, our hearts would be stretched thin, each losing strength to another, till you run out of strength within. Think of the memories that life gave us and the love that life had to give. So instead of mourning a life we lost, celebrate a life well lived.
Song is called Don't Straighten It Out, or Suitcase Full of Tears. Thank you all. Don't straighten it out.
heartaches, tie up your bootlace, and pack up your suitcase full of tears. So don't straighten it out, leave it alone. Only time can unravel the twisted way you feel. You don't have to borrow yesterday or tomorrow. Just pack up your sorrow, a suitcase full of tears.
Barry. Want me to stand with you?
Yeah, please.
Okay, I'm going to be right next to you.
Yeah, stand here.
Okay.
So Mark and Henry, that was amazing. Mark wrote that song, everybody. I want to thank everyone for being here. It's tremendous. Maybe I'll get through this. So I could say a million words about Margie. For those who know me and my speech making, I think it's probably like 2 million. About the incredible person she was, about the unending love that we had for each other, and that she had for our family, and for all of her and our friends. Her unending smiles and positivity, about how she woke up every single day thinking about what she could do for other people to make them happy and bring joy to their lives. There were, though, only 2 days a year where she didn't wake up thinking about making other people happy, and that was Mother's Day and her birthday, where she wanted us to make her happy. And princess for the day was not sufficient. It was queen for the day. The queen did not lift a finger. And there was one Mother's Day, I think 3 years ago, where I think I must have just treated her as princess and not as queen, and that really didn't work out that well. So I wrote a little makeup poem, and it's called I Get Margie, a poem for the love of my life. I get Margie's beauty. And by the way, I framed this and it's been on our desk for, last 3 years. I get Margie's beauty. I get Margie's laugh. I get Margie's hugs. I get Margie's smile. I get Margie's cheerfulness. I get Margie's hand-holding. I get Margie's eyes. I get Margie's kisses. I get Margie's elegance. I get Margie's style. I get Margie's cute dancing. I get Margie's vacation planning. I get Margie's world traveling. I get Margie's adventurousness. I get Margie's rafting, wilderness camping, kayaking, scuba diving, mountain climbing, and love of the outdoors. I get Margie's care for herself. I get Margie's athletic intensity and dedication. I get Margie's unlimited friendships. I get Margie's taking care of so many things. I get Margie's intelligence. I get Margie's organizational skills. I get Margie's decision-making. I get Margie's determination. I get Margie's leadership. I get Margie's public service. I get Margie's caring for others. I get Margie's ability to throw fabulous parties, big and small. I get Margie's shopping, preparing, and wonderful cooking. I get Margie's love of family. I get Margie's fabulous motherhood. I get Margie's incredible partnership. I get Margie. How lucky can a boy be? So finally, here's a short statement I wrote yesterday. It's intended to express what I think that I and all of those who love Margie should do now and in the future, and it's called Next. Everything continues, and everyone goes on with their lives. Just a few days ago, Margie said to me, "You are going to be happy. Our family is going to be happy." And so what should we do? First we grieve, and then we have gratitude, and then we go on. We keep our family together. We keep our friends together. We fill in the spaces. We take vacations. We have adventures. We help others. We repair the world. We be happy. And keep Margie close to our hearts forever. Margie and I love you all, and we are so grateful for your love for us.
It was beautiful. Perfect.
Yeah.
Leave it. I'll bring it back. Want to give it? Thank you all for those incredible, beautiful words and tributes, the embodiment in every way of Margie and the enduring legacy that she leaves behind. Thank you. If you're able, would you please rise? El Malay Rachamim, Shochein Bamromim, המצא מנוחה נכונה תחת כנפי השכינה, עם קדושים וטהורים כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים את נשמת מרגלית, שלחה לעולמה. בעל הרחמים, יסתיריה בסתר כנפיך לעולמים, ויצור ביצור החיים את נשמתה, אדוני הוא נחלתה. ותנוח בשלום על משכבה ונאמר, אמן. May the source of life, the fountain of all being, open our hearts to compassion and our eyes to wisdom, that we might glimpse in perfect peace the way of all things. May Margie's memory be for us a blessing. And may we never let the light of her love grow dim in our hearts. May we always remember her worthy and righteous deeds, that her memory be forever bound up in the bond of life. May Margie's death awaken us to this truth, that the bond of love we shared and share could never be severed in sorrow. May she always rest in peace. We say together, Amen.
May be seated. This concludes our service here in the chapel. The interment will take place immediately at the family plots at West Lawn Cemetery in Norridge. Following the interment, the family will be sitting Shiva. Shiva will take place at the Sandlow Rosen residence. That address is here. That will take place today from 5 p.m. until 9 p.m. and Monday from 6 p.m. until 9 p.m. Memorial contributions may be made to North Shore Congregation Israel. That information is also on your folder. For those of you online, that information is available on our website. For those of you who are going to be going in procession with the family to the cemetery, please make sure you obtain an orange funeral safety sticker. The sticker should be placed in the front passenger side windshield. We would also ask that you have your bright headlights and hazard lights on at all times. For an additional measure of safety, our staff will be placing magnetic flags throughout the procession. As we drive in procession today, please drive as closely as safety permits to the vehicle in front of you. This is especially true as we work through intersections. We want to avoid any large gaps or spaces. I'm going to ask everybody to please stand and remain in place until the rabbi has spoken. I'm going to invite the pallbearers, Tony, Bonnie, Sherry, Avery, Henry, Della, Ethan, Elizabeth, Neal, Jeff, Mariano, Juan, B, Sam, Flora, and Susie to join us in the front. I'm going to ask everybody to please rise.
What do you need? Friends, just two brief announcements. First, as you know, there's a virus going around the family. They are still sitting Shiva this evening and tomorrow. However, first of all, they would like you to know that if you are uncomfortable being in the home, they do not want you to feel in any way obligated to be there. They understand. And if you do want to still be there, they really, really want you to protect yourself. Please wear a mask. Please wear gloves. That's a direct request from Barry. And please do the best you can do to wash your hands before and after. This is all a direct request from the family. One more brief word. There is nothing anyone here can say to make this better. There are no words to somehow ease the pain that the family is experiencing. What does give them a softer ground upon which to walk is simply your presence, a phone call, a check-in, not just in the next week, but even more importantly, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, 6 months, as this sets in. We know you know this already, but it's just a friendly reminder of what it is that everyone here can do to show their love and respect for Margie and their love for the family. Thank you so much for being here. This concludes our service.